What about those masks that drop down in the event of decompression? That's a pretty flimsy-looking apparatus, isn't it? Doesn't this look remarkably like a parquet margarine cup on the end of an enema bag or something? You know, they always have these bizarre instructions that start the flow of oxygen tugged down lightly on the cord. And you know, when I'm shoulder rolling at 700 miles an hour, lightly just isn't in my fucking vocabulary, all right? You know people are going to be Conan-ing those things right off the bulkhead. Something intrinsically cruel about having the last 40 seconds of your life turn into a Lucy skit. I think instead of oxygen, they had to pump in nitrous oxide. This way. This way, if the plane does wreck, that first rescue team comes onto the scene, you're up in a tree, still strapped in your seat, you know, just laughing your ass off, you know. Guys are, Bobby, get over here. Look how hip this guy is. I mean, he's naked, he's blue, he's howling. Oh, this cat is centered, huh? You know what I hate is when you're sitting in coach class and they pull that curtain on first class. Oh, I see, they paid an extra $40 and I'm a fucking leper, right? I always get the feeling if the plane's about to wreck, the front compartment breaks off into a little Goldfinger mini plane. They're on their way to Rio and I'm a charcoal briquette on the ground, you know. I was down in San Antonio, Texas not long ago working a club. Just coincidentally, that week in town, they had a young Christian convention. San Antonio was overrun with 10,000 happy young Christians. I flew in on US Air with a plane load of happy young Christians. You know how disconcerting it is to be the only person on the plane who cares if it goes down? I'm going into a mountaintop, they're going to a better place. You know, it's like, hey kids, I think the wings just fell off. Kumbaya. What's with these people? It's like life in Hef's jacuzzi or something, you know. Whenever they talk to you, they give you this move with the arms, this celestial bench press or whatever the hell this, what is that, pumping grace? Anybody have a line on that? I'm sure Christians are nice people, but as hard as they might find it to believe, I do have my own personal concept of love for Christ that works quite well. I'm a little indignant when they tell me I'm going to hell if I haven't been born again. Pardon me for getting it right the first time. I mean, how many times can you pull this shit? Can you be born again and again and again like some evangelical Gabor sister or what? Stay in a lot of hotel rooms. I think the worst thing about staying in a hotel is when you shut the door to your room, the first thing you're confronted with is that rather ominous chart on how to safeguard yourself in the event of a fire. I think if you really want to safeguard yourself, you should call down to the front desk and ask them if they've recently fired any illegal aliens from the kitchen staff. It's always some edgy drifter from Tunisia who's a little disenchanted with a comprehensive dental plan and decides to torch you to get back at the Ramada family, you know. Every time I go into the bathroom of a hotel, there are 2 switches on the wall. Never once in 5 years have I hit the light switch. I'm always sitting there in the dark with a nice breeze going from the exhaust fan. Why do they have the exhaust fan in the bathroom? Anybody having friends over for a sink hibachi or what? And if something comes out of you that's so bad that you need an exhaust fan, you're about to die within a week anyway, okay? And they're so paranoid about you falling in a shower, they have those industrial-grade sand strips on the bottom of the tub. Marriott is completely overboard. They have ski boots welded to the tub so you can, you know, lean back and get at that hard-to-rinse area down here where you usually have to bring the water in on the arm viaduct or else do the hydroelectric shuffle method or arch the back at just the right angle to get that Chattahoochee Canal effect down there. Rinse out the old DMZ, huh? We all think we have our own little secrets, don't we, huh? Oh, when we're alone, we all do the same stupid shit. How many actually think tap water is going to get hot faster if you go like this underneath of it, huh? Now, there's an immutable law of physics. I don't know, it has something to do with the breeze on the fingers. It makes it appear hotter. I think it was von Leeuwenhoek that first postulated that. If you get a hole in the end of your sock, you want to wear the sock anyway, so you put the sock on, take it, elongate it, bring it underneath, wedge it up into the toe groove, put it into the shoe, release, you got a whole new sock, huh? America American ingenuity in its purest state. This is why socks come in size 8 to 13, so one can make this Doppler modification, as it were. So, film on my last flight was the latest Star Trek opus, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. I've never been a real Star Trek fan, but I've always admired the phaser as a weapon. Seemed a little limited, though. We only had the two functions, either stun or kill. I always thought they should have had a more existential setting, like maybe one for melancholy. Oh, Christ, Jim, I gotta get off this planet. This space shit just doesn't make sense anymore. What are we doing with our fucking lives? I need a day job. Remember when we were young, we used to watch Star Trek on TV. We'd always get real high before the show. Then during the opening credits, try to figure out which white dot was going to turn into the Enterprise. You know, Obviously, I'm not the only one who might have used that psychic litmus test to gauge the parameters of the evening. I don't get high anymore. I don't mind drugs as much as I mind the people you have to get high with. We've all had this happen. You're sitting there in your third joint of some incredibly potent Sao Paulo North Slope tripweed, kind of guys on Amtrak smoke. Your right leg has just got up, excused itself, and left the room. Kid next to you passes you a joint and gives you this, hey, listen, man, how do I know that this whole planet isn't conceivably just like an electron in some other atom? You want to get the hell out of here with that kind of talk, Freud? I'm high. I don't need this kung fu shit right now, okay, Grasshopper? How do I know what color blue is to you? Is the color blue to me? Yeah, check the crayon box, ass, all right? I'm fucking high over here. What am I, Nova, for Christ's sake? Yeah. These people love to get high and tell you Bruce Lee stories. You know, they take that long draw on the skull bong and recant the tale of the master. Oh, Lee was very bad, man. He could go into your stomach, come up, get your heart, pull it out and show it to you before you die. Well, that'll stand out on a resume, huh? Oh, what an icebreaker at parties. You know, you rip the host ticker out and drop it in the bean dip. I'd say you've got the floor, huh? Bruce, lighten up for Christ's sake. Cut out the MSG, get a hobby. Films are my hobby. I like the older films, the classics. Wizard of Oz is a great film, but all films have a fatal flaw. In The Wizard of Oz, it's that scene towards the end where Glinda, the good witch, comes up to Dorothy and gives her this. But you had the power to go back all along. All you had to do was tap your heels together. I just wanted Dorothy to slap the shit out of her, huh? Yeah. You had the power to tell me that 3 hours ago, honey. Did I need this drug trip? I'm in Kansas doing laundry, and I got a fucking tree chasing me down the road, all right? I want a flight out of here now! Or I start throwing dead midgets out the door, all right? Went to see a subtitled French film yesterday, Truffaut's 400 Blows. I can't really tell you a whole lot about the movie. The kid next to me was dyslexic. We were slamming heads throughout the flick. Stallone. There's the quintessential thespian, huh? This guy has about as much range as a Daisy air rifle. You know, I don't think I've seen depth in a character portrayal like that since... I gotta go back to Larry Storch on F Troop. I mean, you know, some of Agorn's earlier ensemble work with the Hakawi tribe. I guess the high watermark was the It Is Balloon episode. Staying in a lot of hotels watching films on this new cable subscription service they have, Selectivision, where you get to pick a one-time film, pay a one-time fee. I think we've all had the rather solitary experience of being on the road late at night alone in a hotel. You check the video menu, as it were. see a listing for that softcore R-rated porn film. You figure, what the hell, nobody gets hurt. You punch it up, you think nothing of it, till a couple days later you're checking out, they give you that bill right there in black and white, teenage tit freaks. Twice. You know, you feel so filthy, you punch up a Disney film just to cleanse yourself, you know. Film's my hobby. I'm not a particular fan of TV, and yet I work in TV. That, to some extent, should convey to you the whore-like nature of my existence. I'm particularly offended by these game shows, specifically Let's Make a Deal, which is back on the air now. I was watching the other night. Monty stumped the entire crowd. He offered $50 to anybody who could produce some dignity or self-respect. Came up snake eyes on that roll, huh? My favorites off the air now. I used to especially enjoy Family Feud, particularly the end of the show after the family had won and they were celebrating, and you got to meet all the family mutants who couldn't make the team, huh? You never saw Richard kissing any of these fucking people, did you? It's like, hi, I'm Eddie. I live under the sink, you know. Great, Ed. Survey says Thorazine, okay? What kind of name is Wink Martindale for an adult? Hi, I'm Wink. This is my hyperkinetic daughter, Rem Cycle, over here. And these commercials, I mean, how stupid do they think we are? Soft soap in a dispenser for messy children. You know, if your kid can't get bar soap together, do me a favor, hold him back a year, all right? What is this, Damien 4, the shithead, or what? I mean, come on, it's soap. Wet it, wipe it, good night. What do you need, a fucking schematic here? It's not a detonator, for Christ's sakes. It's Cam-A. These Maxwell House commercials where this guy and his dog, Hal and Duke, travel the country like Ansel Adams on peyote buttons, taking pictures of sunup. People have them in their house for Java and a croissant. Yeah, I know not a day goes by when I don't have a complete stranger traveling on foot with Cujo up into my pad for a cup of joe. I'm brewing a coffee, he's putting a fucking axe in the side of my head like Texas Percolator Massacre or something, you know. I could walk the country too if I drank that much goddamn coffee, all right? Let's break it up, have a Pop-Tart, something for Christ's sake. Look at these feminine hygiene ads I'm being inundated with. Some pretty fertile women running around out there, huh? These girls have more periods than a Hemingway novel. Their time of the month is the month. Copernicus used these chicks to set up the lunar cycle. You know, men feel left out of that whole gynecological process no matter how hard it is for a woman. Ladies, you have to remember, essentially, men are megalomaniacal in nature. They like to be involved in every single facet of their female's existence, and they feel left out here, cheated, because they don't have a corresponding experience. This is why men like shoe shine so much. It's the closest we come to gynecology. We get to put our feet up on those little fake feet, you know. Which brings to mind a question, do women tip their gynecologist, huh? Well, that looks great, Doc. Here, get yourself a little something, you know. He gives it that one last whack with a buffing ring. Look at these National Enquirer commercials for inquiring minds like me. Yeah, these people have Mensa written all over them, don't they, huh? I pick up the Enquirer just to see where Elvis has turned up this week. This guy didn't work this hard when he was alive, for Christ's sakes. Now he's showing up in people's tater cellars or hovering over a swap meet in Iowa, you know. Maybe it's just me, but I think you gotta slow down a little when you die.